everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in January, as well as just some other things that I've been loving this month. I guess I should say things that I've been loving last month because we are already in February, which is very hard to believe, but also it feels like it's been 2024 forever, and not in a bad way. I had a fabulous month last month, honestly. Like, it was great. So I am just really looking forward to another month and building upon that momentum that I created in January. But I wanted to, of course, first of all, talk to you about all the books that I read last month, and I wanted to share some of my favorites with you guys because I just want to kind of talk about everything, talk about the things that I've been loving and the things that contributed to me having a really awesome month. So let's just get into it. So starting off with the books, I had the goal last month of reading 2 self-help books and 5 just regular fiction books, and I completed that and I did not exceed it. I actually, as much as I had a really great month, I didn't do that much reading. I said this in a recent video, but I feel like, probably contrary to most people, I'm not sure if this is actually fact, but I do most of my reading in the summertime, but during the winter, I don't do a ton of it. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, because you would think I would be doing a ton of reading since I'm just kind of stuck inside, but for some reason, I just haven't lately. But I'm already getting February off to a good start. That being said, I did read those 5 books and I did enjoy them. I haven't really had many standouts, to be honest. First of all, I DNF'd the first book that I read, which was Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I'm not sure exactly how far I got into this one, but I just decided it wasn't for me. I wasn't really feeling the chemistry between the 2 characters and didn't care for the writing all that much. I can't exactly remember what the tipping point was, but I just kind of ended up giving up on it. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's basically this guy accidentally texts the wrong number, but then it ends up being his best friend's little sister, and like it's kind of an enemies to lovers sort of thing. I don't know. After that, I read City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert, which actually took me quite a while to read. And this is set in the 1940s era-ish, and it's basically following a young girl who doesn't really fit the mold of what a young lady should be. She's not proper. She is in New York with her aunt and she's learning all about showgirls and the theater, and all of that is getting wrapped up in all of it. And it's actually a very sex positive story. That is a major part of it, but she's also dealing with consequences from her actions and kind of being a young, naive girl who isn't really thinking of other people as much as she's thinking of herself. But then you get to see her grow up and you learn more about her. This was interesting. I didn't love it. I thought it was good, but I feel like because it took me so long to read, I kind of ended up falling off the wagon with it a little bit and was expecting a bit more from the storyline. It's a pretty big book, but not a ton happens in it. Like, things do happen, but I think I just wanted a little bit more. So it was good. I liked it. It immersed me in that world. I've never really read anything in that time period that isn't set like directly with World War II. So that was really interesting. And like the theater world in New York, that was cool. But yeah, I definitely had a few things that I feel like I would have liked better. After that, I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I have seen this book everywhere and heard some really amazing things about it, but I just finally picked it up, and I believe that the sequel is out now. But I would say that this was actually probably my favorite book that I read this past month. I quite enjoyed it, and it's actually great for winter because there is like this wintry vibe to it, all the snow and everything. And I haven't read all that many books about fairies. I feel like the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is ACOTAR and whatchamacallit, Curse Prince, whatever, the Holly Black one. I can't think of what it's called right now, but this is very different because it's actually told in like journal entries of Emily Wilde, who is writing as she's researching fairies. And I thought it was a really interesting and cool take on fairies. And I had a great time with this one. I do definitely understand why it is so hyped up. Next, I read Outrun the Moon by Stacey Lee. This is the final Stacey Lee book that I had to read, so now I am all caught up on her books, and I hope that she's coming out with something else soon. But she writes very diverse historical fictions, which is always lovely because historical fiction is one of my favorite genres, but it definitely can be one that is lacking in diversity in the YA space particularly. So I was just thrilled to have another Stacey Lee book to read. Now this one is set in San Francisco, and it's actually set against the backdrop of the San Francisco earthquake and the fires. And you have a young Chinese girl who is dealing with all of this prejudice, but she's just trying to go to school and become the best person she can possibly be. And she ends up going to this finishing school, but the girls aren't really accepting her. And while she's there is when this earthquake happens, and her whole world is entirely like turned upside down, almost literally. So it was very fascinating. I loved the main character, and Stacey Lee honestly just hits the nail on the head every time. And the last fiction book that I read was Jasmine and Jake Rock the Boat by Sonia Lawley. I think this is my second Sonia Lawley book that I've read. This one was set on an Alaskan cruise, so I felt like that was probably good for, you know, the wintry vibes. But it is about two characters who used to know each other way back in the day, and then they like come together. There's kind of an age gap between the two of them, but they end up meeting on this Alaskan cruise that the main character, she goes on with her parents, not knowing that it's actually like a seniors cruise, which I think is really funny. But you just see them kind of will they, won't they sort of thing throughout the whole story. I feel like they had really great chemistry. The book was a lot of fun, and it dealt with some important issues, like how she is seen in a very different light for how she acts than he is, and they act in like a similar way, being more promiscuous, but she is like completely, I don't know, ostracized, I guess, for that, and he isn't like seeing that same treatment. So it's an interesting examination of that disparity there. It is very culturally rich, which is lovely, and I just thought this was a really great book. I have quite enjoyed both of the books that I've read by this author. And now for the two self-help books. So we have How to ADHD, An Insider's Guide to Working with Your Brain, Not Against It by Jessica McCabe. So I'm sure, maybe, I shouldn't say I'm sure, but if you have ADHD and you've done any research on it, I feel like you probably have come across the How to ADHD YouTube channel, and this is the like owner of that YouTube channel. This is her book, and I found a lot of really valuable information in here. I really enjoyed it, and honestly, it probably is going to be a book that I reread to get the most out of it. But I have been reading many books on ADHD recently, and I feel like this is one of my favorites. And her YouTube channel is also really, really helpful, so I highly recommend. And the final book that I read this month, and the final self-help book, was The Power of Fun, How to Feel Alive Again by Catherine Price. Archer thought it would be really fun to just completely try and eat this book, so at least he had fun with it. I did really like this book though. It is basically about the power of adding play and just free fun times back into your life. And I feel like that's something that I have kind of unwittingly fallen into this past year. So reading this book when I did was actually the perfect time to be reading it. And it's definitely something that I'm going to be revisiting and going back to these exercises. I highly recommend it if you feel like your life is kind of lacking something. I think that this might explain it. It's talking about how fun is something super, super important, but it's not something that we are really inclined to add into our lives without feeling guilty. And I know that that is something that I definitely still struggle with and am really working on. But I think that you would definitely get something really valuable from this book. So now on to the just kind of miscellaneous portion. I just want to talk about things that I have been loving because I feel like I have had so many things that have been adding a lot into my life recently, and I want to share them with you guys. I feel like the number one thing that I want to get across is something that I actually will have a whole specific video coming out on this weekend, but that is hobbies. I have been getting into hobbies like it is honestly my job. It has been my favorite thing, and it has brought me so much joy, honestly. Like, I did not expect my month or my year even to go like this, but I'm not mad about it. One of my goals for the year is to try learning something new and to try new hobbies all the time. But I never expected like how deep I would get into that. So far, just to name a couple that I have really enjoyed, I've really gotten into the kind of textile crafts. And when I went home to see my mom, she started me on crocheting because I wanted to make the little figurine things like the amigurumi. I thought that those seemed super cute, and she suggested that I start out with this. So I have been crocheting and really, really loving it. And then I also finally started this kit that my sister got for me. I think that I hadn't even started it in the hobbies video that I filmed. I can't remember. Maybe I had just started it. Either way, I actually started this in a vlog, the vlog that I did like acting on my goals, my first New Year's video thing. I'll link that down below if you wanted to check it out. But this is just a little Alice in Wonderland embroidery kit, and it is so pretty. I really, really love it. I've been having so much fun with it, and I feel like I have made really good progress. Honestly, I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I have because I've never even threaded a needle before, but I have been really loving it. So I'm just so glad that I've already found so many things that have added a lot to my life, and I have so many other things that I want to try as well. So this will definitely be something coming to my channel in the future. Expect a lot of it. Kind of going along with that, I have also really been loving Skillshare this past month. This video is not sponsored by them. I know that it seems like I'm going into a sponsorship, but I have been sponsored by Skillshare in the past, and I have like used it and really enjoyed it, but I have gotten into it so much this past month with trying to learn new things and trying to pick up all of these different hobbies, and I'm also trying to learn graphic design for work. So it just has been such a great and invaluable resource. I have made it a part of my routine to do one Skillshare class at least every week, not including the graphic design one because that one is kind of separate, but I have done one on embroidery, like getting started with that. I have even done some on YouTube in general and kind of the analytics side of things. I have done, I can't even remember, but I have so many saved on my list as well to do in the future. And it just has been a really great place to find all of this learning in one spot. So I have just been loving it. Speaking of adding things to my routines have been, I think, the #1 change that I have made coming into this year. I have tried to have routines in the past and just been unsuccessful with actually sticking to them, but there's just something about the way that I've done it this time that has actually clicked. I think in the past when I've tried to do routines, I've tried to like fully time map everything, but this time I went with the approach of just kind of assigning like different tasks that I have to do every week. I kind of assign them a day. So then I'm able to like easily know, oh, today's Monday, so I'm going to do laundry. And laundry is something I have struggled with. You guys know because I've done a whole video where like I basically in September, I hadn't put away laundry since May. It was a huge issue, but what I was doing was, oh, the laundry's full, so now I'm going to do it. But now on Monday, I just do it even if the laundry isn't full. And it makes it so I don't have all that much to fold and put away. That doesn't take that long. And I know reliably every Monday I'm going to be doing laundry. So it just is kind of putting that as a habit, really. There are honestly a lot of different routines that I have incorporated. Like I have my weekly routine, my morning routine, my night routine, my just daily routine in general. So if you guys would like to know more about that and more in depth, let me know and I would love to do a video on that for you guys. But I have it all in Notion as well, which, let's just get it out of the way right now. Notion is definitely a favorite of all time. But if I had to be specific, there are kind of 2 pages that I have been loving recently. So one would be my weekly agenda. I have had a weekly agenda on Notion for a long time, but I recently kind of revamped it and made it something that I am actually using constantly. And I love the way that I have it set up because I'm not only tracking things on a daily basis, I can track them on a weekly basis. And that is just really nice for not getting overwhelmed. Archer's trying to walk on my computer. So that view has been been super helpful, and honestly, all of my Notion just makes me happy. But the other page that has made me very, very happy recently is my 2024 homepage and like hub and all of that. You would have seen this in my very first New Year's goal setting video, so I'll link that down below if you wanted to check it out. I gave a brief walkthrough, but it's essentially where I go for all of the things that I want to do this year. All the dreams that I have, they all live in that one page. And it is such a great place to go if I'm feeling down, I don't really feel like I have direction, but even having like written all of that stuff down, it makes me never really have that feeling that I'm lacking direction. I actually have it in my weekly routine to check in on that page and on those goals at least twice during the week. And it's just like a quick little glance at it, but I feel like it just keeps it in mind, it keeps it updated all the time, and I can actually see all of the progress that I am making at a glance, and that is just so great for my overall mindset. Actually, with that in mind, I know I said I was only going to talk about 2 pages, but I also wanted to mention my weekly planning routine. I have set it up on Notion, and the way that I do it is just so easy. Like, I started implementing this into my content planning routine as well, but essentially I have like a bank of the tasks that I need to do that week, and then I just drag them to where they're going to go. And it has made such a difference. That's probably something that I will do a video on very soon as well. If you want it, let me know. I'm still just trying to figure out if I want to like share the templates or if I want to sell them. Honestly, I'd probably sell them, which is probably very annoying, but 1, I have debts that I'm trying to pay off. 2, it wouldn't be very expensive. And 3, they do actually take a lot of time and energy to do. So yeah. Another favorite would be YouTube in general. Watching it and also just making videos on my own. I cannot explain to you how much I have like reignited my passion for making videos and how happy it has made me. I did at the end of the month a total revamp of my like page and everything, and I changed my icon and like the little watermark thing in the corner. I literally changed everything. I did a new intro, a new outro, and it just makes me so happy. I loved how my page looked before, but now I feel like this like really just suits me and my style right now. I just love it, to be entirely honest. And just giving myself the freedom with vlogging and making videos, it has brought me so much joy. Vlogging is one of my favorite things to do, and I have loved it. It has honestly just been such a like pleasure to have this back as a hobby and a passion project for me, when for a while it didn't really feel like that. So I am just like very, very grateful and glad that that is the case. I'm so happy that I can include this on a favorites list. And I feel like it seems like a really strange thing to include as a favorite, but it's true. Like, it genuinely is a favorite. So I hope it's a favorite for you too. That being said, as far as what I have been watching on YouTube, I have been loving Cozy K's videos. I will link her down below. They honestly have been like on repeat in the background. She just really encourages you to enjoy your life and find those little moments and enjoy them and live this cozy lifestyle. And I feel like I had never found something that speaks to me so much. I was like, I want to be that cozy. Like, yes, that is definitely what I want out of my space, out of my life. And I just absolutely adore her. So she has offered a lot of inspiration for my own videos, and I hope that you guys will check her out as well, because her videos are really awesome and will just make you feel great. And other than that, most of what I have been watching is Sims YouTubers. I really go through phases with YouTube where I will watch everything that someone posts and then I won't click on one of their videos for months, which I'm really sorry because I know how bad that is for the algorithm, but it's just the way that my brain works. My attention only lasts for so long. So who I'm watching always just varies, but then I always end up going back to them, and when I come back I have so many videos that are new to watch since it has been a while. But I have been back in kind of a Sims phase, and because of that I've been watching a ton of Sims YouTubers. So Lil Simsy is one of my favorites, but I also really love Plumbella, and those are the two that I have just been watching on repeat, truly. I feel like the only YouTubers that I just constantly watch are like Trixie Mattel, and I watch watch that all the time, no matter what. Other than that, it really fluctuates. Speaking of Sims, I have been in that Sims phase, right? But I do struggle with it because I am not a casual gamer. I love the idea, like Cozy K talks about cozy gaming all the time, but if I'm playing a game, I can't do anything else. If I'm playing Animal Crossing or playing Sims, I literally can't get myself to put it down and to move on to something else. I just will hyperfixate and hyperfocus. So I wish that I could be that person who casually plays something, but I just can't. Because of that, I have been like kind of playing The Sims, but it's been a little bit off and on. I have been loving it, obviously, because I do love The Sims. But yeah, it's been up and down because I just don't, I always feel guilty for that. I'm trying to get out of that, but you know. Pretty much if I'm not playing The Sims, I have been, and I'm doing something on social media or whatever, I have been scrolling through Pinterest. Pinterest is probably my favorite social media platform. I honestly rarely go on the others because I just love looking at all the different fun things on Pinterest. I really love just getting inspiration from there, especially starting off the year with new goals and everything. I love to constantly be adding to my board on there for all of my new goals, and I just really love it. To finish it off, I wanted to talk about a couple of things for the house that I have been loving. So one is candles. I guess because, I mean, it kind of started in the summertime, to be entirely honest, but late summer, early fall, I got super into candles, and I just have been lighting candles all the time, constantly. I never used to actually light them because I just would forget, but then I ended up getting lighters for like every room. So now I can easily light them and not be lazy about it. But this is probably my absolute favorite scent that I have right now. So much so that I've hardly burned it because I'm really scared to run out of it. But it is vanilla almond and it just smells so freaking good. I just don't want to run out of it because I got it at Winners. So it's not one that I could really get again. Like, I'm just so scared to burn it, honestly. If I saw it again, I would pick up another one of it because it just smells so freaking delightful. I love almond. It smells so good. The other home thing that I wanted to talk about is Etsy digital prints. You can get like digital downloads on Etsy, which I didn't really know was a thing, but it is, so that's really nice. But they're not very expensive at all. Like the ones that I've gotten have been really super cheap. And then there were like sales around Christmas time for actually printing them out. So it was just a really affordable way to get art into my home because I've wanted to decorate the walls because I obviously haven't really done that. I have had such commitment struggles with that, but with this I'm like, it wasn't that expensive, so I don't feel bad about it. I've been building out a gallery wall, which I am just in love with, and I found so many different art pieces that just speak to me. Like, I used to try and find them at HomeSense, but HomeSense is so hit or miss when you go, and I was just kind of tired of waiting and feeling afraid to commit to anything, and this just made it so much easier. So I do still need to get frames for them, but I'm on like a no spend month or so. So the frames will be to come, but it is nice to even have them taped up on the wall because then I can see if I want to move anything around. But they just make me really happy. And the final thing is my desk setup. Actually, specifically these little things that I got from Bando. I got these at the end of last year. I had ordered them, but it's just a little like stand-up desk calendar, and then I have a couple of notebooks that I'm using all the time from them and a weekly planner pad. And I just really enjoy the aesthetic of their items. It is just very much what I am into. I'm never like, oh, I'm this aesthetic, so I really don't know what aesthetic I am, but what I mean is that it just fits my style and what I like and what makes me happy. And having all of these cute little things around my desk has just brought it to life. So it definitely is feeling more like an inspirational space to me. Sorry, I got cut off by my camera, but I wasn't sure about the layout and stuff, but now I feel like I've really figured it out. So I'm really happy with it. So those are all of the books that I read this month, as well as all of the things that I have been loving. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit different than what I usually do for wrap-ups, but I hadn't read that many books, and honestly, if I have, then I will probably just do these videos separately, but I love to talk about things that I have been loving. I don't know if I'll do it on a monthly basis, but let me know what you would like to see. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another new video very soon. Bye!